teachers, and everyone celebrating this beautiful milestone. Let me begin with something simple but powerful. You made it. Not just through exams, projects, deadlines, and sleepless nights, but through doubt, pressure, and those quiet moments when you ask yourself, am I good enough? And today, here you are, standing at the edge of something bigger. I'll be honest with you, I am incredibly jealous of you right now. Because a few years ago, I was sitting exactly where you are. I studied until my eyes blurred, trying to honor the quiet sacrifices of a family that didn't have much, but gave me everything. By God's grace, I became class valedictorian. I prepared a speech, something heartfelt, something meaningful. But then, pandemic happened. My speech never reached the podium. I graduated behind screen with a leave a like and subscribe kind of ending. It wasn't the moment I imagined, but it became part of the story that brought me here. So today, I'm not just standing here as your speaker. I'm standing here because God writes better stories than we ever could. He took away my stage, made me wait, led me through a path I never planned, and brought me here. And now, I realize, maybe I didn't lose my moment back then. Maybe it was meant for this one, to share with you all. Today, I want to share two lessons that I have also learned throughout my years here in Cordova Catholic Cooperative School that will take you farther than talent, luck, or intelligence ever could. That is discipline and trusting God's plan. Lesson number one, discipline. Let me start with something simple. My grandmother, as I call my Lola, once told me, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. At your age, I thought, Lola, unsa man oy, how can fixing my bed first thing in the morning change the world? But now, I understand. Because how you do one small thing is how you do everything. Making your bed is not just about being clean. It's about finishing what you started. It's about building momentum. It doesn't matter if you started slow or behind. It's about establishing the momentum. So instead of doom scrolling on your phone, watching reels on TikTok or Facebook about fruits and vegetables who are having an affair, or AI-generated cat stories who gave birth with a dog, or clashes and chicas among social media influencers and celebrities, you decided to fix your bed. You have accomplished the first task of the day. Then, it suddenly gives you a sense of pride and will encourage you to do another task, like washing the dishes at the kitchen sink, then organizing your soiled linens in the hamper. One small task leads to another, and another, and another, and another. And at the end of the day, that one task completed will turn to many tasks completed. Start with simple habits. Start with small things. And before you know it, you're already making something bigger. You're already building a life, your own momentum. You need to realize that if you can do small things right, you will struggle with the big things. If you can discipline yourself in simple habits, how will you handle big responsibilities? Let me be real with you, grade 10 completers. Discipline is not glamorous. There were nights in college when I cried over was weak, but because I knew every mistake could cost me my scholarship and not to be able to graduate on time. Well, no one pressured me, but I could feel my family's silent hopes, and sometimes silence is louder than words. I remember I was mocked and laughed at. Why are you so serious? Sige raman ato ba mo libro, Ruby? They said, relax, enjoy your life. But here's what I learned. Discipline is not a punishment. It is self-respect. While others were resting, I was studying. While others doubted me, I was building my momentum. And one day, it paid off. A young dreamer from the small town of Cordoba topped the Philippine nursing licensure examination. Not because I was the smartest, not because I was talented or motivated, not because I had the most resources or the richest, but because I showed up. I keep on showing up and trying, even in days I didn't feel like it. So, my dear grade 10 completers, don't stop trying or believing in yourself. Because every page you read, every hour you invest, every assignment you submit, and every challenge you overcome brings you one step closer to the goal you've always dreamed of. In the end, I finally get what my Lola was teaching me all along. Discipline turns ambition into reality. Not motivation, not talent, not intelligence, but discipline. Now, here's the second lesson. Lesson number 2. Trusting God's plan. I didn't grow up with wealth, but I grew up rich in something bigger. That is faith. My mother is a very religious individual. And she's the one who taught me to trust God not only when life makes sense, but especially when it doesn't. Because the truth is, life will not always make sense. Here's something no one tells you. God will give you the vision of your dream, but not the plan and map on how you will be going to achieve those dreams. You'll feel called to something great, but you won't see the struggles, the detours, or the delays. When I was sitting where you are, my dream was to become a chemical engineer. I had the plan, I had the scholarship, but God had a different direction. I ended up in nursing. I resisted it, a path I never chose for myself at the beginning. To be honest, I really resisted it and questioned it. There were nights I lay awake asking, Lord, nganong diriman ko? This wasn't my plan. I struggled, not just with the lessons, but with acceptance. I felt lost, I felt uncertain. I felt like I was taking a path that didn't belong to me. But slowly, quietly, God began to reveal why. Today, I stand before you as a neonatal intensive care unit nurse. And every single day, I hold lives so small. Believe me, mas daan pa siya sa isang kilo nga asukar. These are lives so fragile that even breath is a battle. And in those moments, inside that quiet beeping room, I realized something that changed me forever. I just don't solve problems. I don't just follow orders. I became part of someone's miracle, someone's life. I help a heartbeat keep going. I help tiny chests rise and fall and rise again. I witness prayers being answered right in front of my eyes. And suddenly, all the confusion, all the detours, all the why me moments, they started to make sense. Because now I understand. If everything has gone according to my plan, I would have missed the very purpose God prepared for me. I would have missed these moments. I would have missed these lives. I would have missed this calling. And that is when it hit me that sometimes the life that you never asked for becomes the life you were always meant to live. So to all grade 10 completers and to everyone who's here, there will be days when you feel lost, days when your plans fail, days when you question your worth. But listen carefully. Do not give up on God's plan for your life, even when it's confusing, even when it hurts, even when it looks nothing like what you imagined. Because sometimes the path that breaks you is the path that builds you. Remember these two lessons. Discipline turns ambition into reality, and God's plan is always greater than yours. And who knows? The student struggling today might be saving lives tomorrow. The one who feels lost today might be leading others someday. The one who feels unseen today might one day stand on stage like this, telling their story. So dream big, stay disciplined, trust God, and when life feels overwhelming, just remember, start by making your bed. Congratulations, grade 10 completers. This is just the beginning. And trust me, God is not done with your story yet. Thank you and God bless you all.